So I joined TikTok.
I saw.
Here's why I joined TikTok. I joined TikTok to like follow you and Zoe and everybody that I know that has a TikTok. And then I discovered gay TikTok. And I was like, "Oh, I'm staying."
Yeah, like basically like my page is like I get gay TikTok, but I get gay TikTok in cosplay form.
Which is a lot of crossover with gay TikTok.
which is like a constant. Oh my god, there was this one video I saw. It was like when you walk into the gay apartment and it's like ABBA's playing, and then they walk into the kitchen and like you think it's gonna be like a woman. Nope, it's a drag queen.
I saw that one yesterday. Oh, I love it. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to The Luck We Had, a shameless recap podcast. I am one of the co-hosts, Amanda.
And I'm your other co-host, Evan. Welcome back, everyone.
Yes, thank you. For those that are listening, thank you so much for listening. We're slowly but surely gathering like a few listeners here, there, and everywhere. Evan has made an amazing website. It is on our Instagram. It links to everywhere you can listen to our podcast. Yes. And obviously you found that if you're listening to this right now. Yay.
So thank you so much for joining us again.
Yes. Today we're going to be recapping Season 1, Episode 4, Casey Casden of Shameless, the US series. This episode's crazy. I don't know if I'm like just getting better at taking notes while I'm watching it, but I got like 20 minutes in like the blink of an eye. Like, this episode's fucking wild. It aired January 30th, 2011. It was written by Cindy Caponera, and this is the first of 2 Shameless episodes that she wrote. She writes another one later on in the first season, and she was also a writer on Sunny with a Chance and the Amy Sedaris Show. It was directed by Todd Holland. This is the only episode of Shameless he directs, but he also directed the entire first season of a short-lived NBC show called The Real O'Neills.
Oh my god, The Real O'Neills.
For those of you who haven't seen The Real O'Neills, it was 1 season long. It was about a boy in an Irish Catholic family that figures out that he's gay, and also there are musical sequences. It's wonderful. It's so good.
That had Noah Galvin in it, right?
Yeah, who went on to be one of the leads in Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah, he played Evan.
Yeah.
And then he ended up, he went to Waitress and he played Oogie, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which was cute. But yeah, like, Real O'Neills, like, it was a really good show, and it had the mom from Raising Hope. Do you remember that show?
I do remember Raising Hope, yeah. But, so the guy who directed that show, and a few episodes of Blackish, and The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. So, like, this guy's got a cool variety of stuff that he's done. The synopsis of this very strange episode is: a sad and lonely Debbie steals a little boy from a birthday party, forcing the family to scheme a way to return him. A web of lies ends in a marriage proposal from Kevin, who is already married. Thanks for giving that away in the synopsis of the episode.
Yeah, like, realistically, like, you don't really learn that until probably, like, a good, like, 30 minutes in. But, like, they just were like, oh, by the way.
No, you don't learn it. You don't learn it until the end of the episode. Like,
wait, really? Oh my god. Okay, then I definitely spaced out for that part. But
yeah, like, why did they just put it in the synopsis? Anyway, so this episode opens on Frank doing the Previously On, and it's like boring. He's like digging in a trash can or whatever. I can't wait until other characters start doing the Previously Ons. And
of course, William H is always the token. So
yeah. We open on Debbie. She's dressing a sack of potatoes up like it's a baby, and pushing it around in Liam's old stroller, and being real weird. And Fiona comes outside and calls her to get inside and get ready for school. And like, Fiona's in full mom mode this morning. Lip and Ian are taking apart the water heater. It's a very chaotic, like, this scene took a while to write down. It's a very chaotic scene.
And, like, as we said, like, how we always are, like, what the hell is going on with timing? Like, all this is happening before school. Yeah. Like, these kids are up. They're doing shit. They're, like, awake. I was like, I don't get this. My ass would not be awake at any time.
Yeah. So she's getting her ready. She's trying to get Debbie ready for school. Or maybe she's just trying to get her showered. I don't know. It is very unclear. And the boys are, like, taking apart the water heater. And we're like, oh, the water heater's broken. And Debbie is, like, trying to get someone to make a pie with her. Debbie is being very needy and very weird in this opening scene. And
because she misses Ginger, because she had all those fun bacon times, and now everyone doesn't have time to do any of that.
Yeah. So Fiona like gets annoyed with her, and she's like, "Debbie, for the love of God, I told you to shower. Like, stop annoying me and stop. We're not making a pie. Go shower." And Lip and Ian said that they're gonna like look in the obits and try and get a water heater from a dead person, which like ingenuity,
Like,
genius.
I love that. Like, that's so smart. They're like, let's go to a dead person's house and steal their water heater. Like, who would have thought? Like, just to like, I love them. We love smart men.
Yeah. Fiona takes Liam and Carl upstairs because they both stink, and Debbie is just literally left spinning in a circle, just like just sitting in the middle of the kitchen, just spinning in a circle. Like that's us, like this at this point in quarantine. Like we're just bored and without anything to do. And then we cut to Frank at Sheila's house, where Sheila has laid out some fresh clothes for Frank. And Frank looks out across the street and sees like a front yard like party. He's like, "Hey neighbors, you having a party?" And they're like, "There's no booze, Frank. You're not invited." The whole neighborhood knows who this man is. Sheila makes Frank some breakfast. They're all settling down for like a normal, quiet morning. And then her ex-husband just comes stomping in the front door and opens the hatch to the basement and just stomps downstairs. And I guess he's just here now.
That's what I never got, is that they literally like they don't confront him until like a little bit down the episode. But I'm just like, man just walks in the front door and just goes down there and closes it behind him. And like I was just like, where the fuck did you come from?
Also, the entrance to your basement is massively inconvenient. It's just in the middle of the kitchen.
Yeah, the middle of the kitchen. It's like more of like, it seems like a crawl space, but that downstairs is like pretty gigantic for them.
It's huge. Whatever, so that happens, and then we cut to Kevin V fucking, of course. It's all they ever do. And V is trying to keep Kev distracted because the Gallaghers are sneaking into their house to use their hot water and shower. And Kev is like,
it's like one scene where you see like Liam cross like the hallway, and then Kev's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I think you see like Liam, or you see like a toy or something.
He's like, "Are the Gallaghers in our bathroom?" And she's like, "Focus, baby." And she like shimmies down his body and like kicks the door closed with her foot. V's an icon. We love V.
I love V.
And then we cut back to Sheila's house, where the world's most awkward breakfast is happening with Karen's piece of shit dad. Sheila is like making everybody else breakfast and giving them coffee, and then she straight up yoinks a pastry out of her ex-husband's hand and starts eating it. Like, we
love her.
Like, she straight up yanks it out of his hand, and then he says Karen is crazy because she's tasted peni and it has made her diseased and crazy. And I would like to start a petition to never hear the word peni ever again.
Peni. He is just such a nasty man. I don't like any word that comes out of his mouth.
And while her dad is sitting there being annoying, and it's very clear that Karen has got some daddy issues, she starts flirting with Frank. She starts licking a spoon suggestively and flirting with Frank, and even Frank has the decency to look like, what the fuck?
I know, Frank's just like wide eyes, like just like looking at her. And like, let me tell you, this girl is eating cereal. So her spoon has milk on it, and she's like rubbing it all over her mouth, and it looks like like that just like happened like that. Like there was never really any other like little things that Karen did to Frank priorly, but like this is the first time we like see Karen be like a little nasty with him, and yeah. I don't like it at all.
And even Frank is not having it. He's like, "This is very weird, and I'm not."
Yeah, because you know more than not, Frank is a dirty man, but like. Both of her parents are right there. Sheila's just in the kitchen, and then her dad's at the table or whatever, like next to Frank.
It is deeply upsetting.
So just wait till she starts calling him Daddy Frank.
Thankfully, we cut away from that, and to Kev peeing, and then getting in the shower, and there's no hot water, and then he looks out of the bathroom, and the Gallagher shit is all over the bathroom.
Everywhere.
And can we give Kev a break, please?
I feel like Man's last couple episodes is just him, his character trait as being mad at the Gallaghers.
Yeah, his catchphrase is "fucking Gallaghers." And then we cut to Steve. Welcome, Steve.
Welcome back.
He walks into the Gallagher house, and he hands Fiona a Starbucks, and they're very cute, and he flirts with her, and he's like all up on her, trying to get all up in her business, and she is fine with him being all over her, but she's like, I am busy. And he's like, why don't you just, like, give Liam to somebody and let's go to a hotel? She's like, babysitters are expensive. He's like, here is $50. Can I take you to a hotel? And and she seems less offended by that than she does by any other time that he tries to pay for stuff for her. He's like, I literally want to spend time with you, please.
I know, and it beats it being like $400 compared to just $50.
Yeah,
so maybe he's learned his lesson by not making that price too high.
Yeah, here's $50 for a babysitter. Let's go to a motel and fuck in peace and quiet. That's a
Exactly.
reasonable request there, Steve. Okay. But she is not about it. And then they hear something like upstairs, and she grabs the bat and hands him Liam, and he immediately is like, no, you can take Liam. And he grabs the bat from her, and they go up the stairs and, like, investigate the sound, and it's coming from Debbie's room. And then Steve almost whacks Debbie over the head with a bat because she comes out of her room.
Oh my god.
So Debbie starts to tell a story that is terrifying the life out of Fiona, because she says that she walked by a birthday party and she saw this kid with his parents and she got so mad, and Fiona's like, oh my god, what happened with this kid's parents? And Debbie's like, so I stole something, and Fiona is so fucking relieved. She's like, oh my god, nobody touched you. Oh, thank god.
Because she, like, when Debbie's explaining it, she literally doesn't even go into detail. She just is like, there were adults and a party and I was alone. And so, of course, like, Fiona's, like, first, this instinct is just like, oh no, they touched you.
Yeah, Fiona and Steve are both like, where is this horrible story going? But thankfully, Debbie just stole something, and it's very relieving until we find out the thing she stole was a child. She stole a child from his birthday party on his front lawn.
That poor baby. That kid is so cute looking, though.
Oh my, he's really cute. So we cut right from that to the cops at the party across the street from Sheila's house, and Frank sees them pull up and starts ranting the way that Frank does. And then they're like, we're not fucking here. Somebody stole a kid. Leave us alone, Frank. And of course, Tony, the only cop in all of Chicago, is there to take the report.
Tony just so happens to be at every single call that might involve the Gallaghers. And, like, he's just there. Like, that. I love that man with all my heart, though. I love Tony so much.
Tony and this partner character that they introduce in this episode just once.
That's, like, the guy who's just, like, kind of annoying, right? Oh my god, the part, we're gonna get to this part, but the part with the siren and, like, the megaphone.
Yeah. It's like a weird, just side, like, annoying character that they threw in, and we never see this guy again. And it's like a character actor that you most likely would have seen on Will and Grace. That's like, he played, like, Will and Grace's, like, one friend that has a baby. And, like, he's a character actor, but he's in this episode. It's very strange, just trying to establish Tony as anything other than the guy that likes Fiona. Is weird.
Yeah, I think they were trying to give some relief to the whole situation that this, like, episode's about, but at the same time, like, we don't see him ever again.
Yeah. And Fiona, we cut back to the Gallagher house, and Fiona's like, hi, why did you steal a little girl? And then she takes, like, the whatever the kid is wearing off, and she's like, why did you steal a little boy and dress him like a little girl? Oh my god, Debbie. And Debbie's like, you took away Aunt Ginger. And Fiona's like, but where did 2 and 2 meet? I don't understand.
Yeah, full on stole a child.
Yeah. And Fiona's like, okay, so where are the clothes that you took him in? And Debbie washed them and they shrunk. And Fiona's like, oh my god, these aren't going to fit anymore. So Steve's like, let's just put him in different clothes and return him. Fiona's like, we're not returning a child in different clothes than we found him in. People are going to say we did stuff. We need to find another Superman costume right now.
Yeah.
And then,
like, why would Steve think that's a logical thing to do? Like, let's put him in completely different clothes and just drop him off.
Like, nope, that's not an okay thing to do to a child.
No,
nope.
It is not.
So then we cut to the cops canvassing the neighborhood for the kid, and yeah, that's when Tony's partner is, like, trying to say a thing into the microphone, and Tony's like, you're not saying enough, give me the thing, and the guy's like, you can't drive and do the walkie, and the guy's like, Tony's like, fuck you, go complain to your cousin, I don't care.
They're, like, arguing the entire time they're in the car, and, like, there's, like, a point where they're, like, yelling into the microphone at each other. I was like, this scene is so unnecessary, but thank you, I enjoyed it.
It's like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern over here, just like, what are we trying to do? Anyway, we cut away from that to Lip and Ian. They're staking out like a memorial or a funeral at somebody's house. trying to find a way in, and there's just a great Lip and Ian exchange, and because Ian's like, well, what do we do? What do we say when we go in? And Lip's like, just play it cool. And he's like, play what cool? Things that people play cool. Jesus, Ian. And like Ian just seems like he's enjoying being a little asshole in this scene, and like, good for you.
I love him.
A little break from some Ian drama in this episode. He's just sort of there. It's nice.
He's just added to the plot, and we love that finally, instead of him being the plot.
Yeah. Except we love when Ian is the plot, don't get us wrong. But
no, we do. But it's sometimes when you carry the whole show in your back, you need a little break. Sorry, I'm only here to spit facts.
Oh, wow. Truer words, Evan. Truer words.
Thank you.
So Lip gets a call from Karen while he's at the place, and they're setting up a date for later. And then we cut to V's house where Fiona's like, hey, can you watch this kid for a minute? And Fiona's like, V's like turned around. And V's like, I'm busy, but I guess whatever. And Fiona leaves. And V thinks, she assumes that Fiona had left Liam in her care. And V turns around, she's like, who the fuck are you? Because it's a little child that has been stolen.
It's a little white blonde baby.
Yeah, she's like, well, you're not Liam. What's happening? Fiona and Steve walk out of V's house and across the street, and Tony pulls up, and they're deer in the headlights. And Steve is there, and Tony is pissed about this whole situation, and he's making it very clear, but he's still like, whoever stole this kid, we're gonna find him, and we're gonna chop their fucking pedophile nuts off. And it was like, listen, that's not this situation. However, if you are all about going after pedophiles, I've got a list.
We got a list for this hit show, Shameless.
Yeah, Cash Karib, number 1. If you want to go and deal with some pedophile nonsense, that'd be great. Thank you, police. Anyway, well, can I just always bring it back to Ian? Yeah?
Always.
So then we cut to Sheila's house, and again, Frank starts talking nonsense while he's watching the news, and Sheila has started to make muffins. And she's very excited. She made them using a bundt cake recipe. She didn't even have to add an extra egg. Sheila is in full, like, crisis mode. She's baking. And like, oh, isn't it nice when someone makes you muffins? And
I love muffins.
Karen tells her dad she just had some delicious peni. Which, again, let's never hear that again. And she's wearing a thong, and she leans over, and she makes eyes at Frank again.
She whale tails Frank.
Yeah. Oh my god, remember whale tailing? Oh.
Yeah, I hate it. I saw someone I follow on Instagram do it a couple days ago, and I was like, I'm sorry, it's not 2005 anymore.
Literally, are we Manny from Degrassi right now? Let's not...
You know what? I would see Mandy doing this, but not Karen. Yeah. But also Karen, her character, I feel like, is like 5 different people at once all the time. So like this is not the most out of the ordinary for her, but just this whole new let's try to give Frank a boner plot is like kind of overwhelming for every listener and viewer.
It's very weird, especially since she's fucking Frank's child and Frank is fucking her mom.
Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly.
It's a lot. And we cut away from that to the cops. They're canvassing the neighborhood, and then Steve and Fiona drive by it, and then the camera's in the car with Steve and Fiona. And Fiona's like bought 3 different size Superman outfits because she didn't know what size to get. And they pass by Lip and Ian, who are wheeling a water heater out in a shopping cart. And she's them. She tells him, she's like, so Debbie stole a baby. And Lip's like, well, didn't see that one coming. Like, takes it in stride. Like, okay, Debbie stole a baby. That's what we're doing today.
My thing is with this show is that how do they always end up bumping into each other? Chicago is so large. And more than not, like, a lot of them are always on foot. They always just end up bumping into each other. I'm like, where do you guys go? I was like, how do you, like, just end up finding each other? And, like, you know those assholes more than not always don't have a phone.
Yeah.
Like, they just, like, casually see each other. And I'm like, I live in a town where all of my friends live, and I don't even casually see them on the street.
Television magic.
Exactly.
So she tells him, find Carl, meet us back at the house. And they're like, okay. And again, another shot of Tony bickering with his partner is a weird thing. And then we cut back to Kevin V's house. I don't care about Tony, in case that's not clear. We cut back to Kevin V's house where Kev is like, why is Liam here? And V's like, why don't you look at this kid a little harder and notice that that's not Liam standing in our house? They're like, well, then who is this child? And then they hear the cop car drive by about the missing child, and they give each other a look. They're like, so this is that kid. What the fuck are the Gallaghers doing? And we get our second fucking Gallaghers of the episode. That's what I should have called this podcast. Fucking Gallaghers.
Fucking Gallaghers.
And we cut back to Sheila's house. Sheila has now made so many muffins. She is putting some on a tray and putting them out the window for Frank to hand out to the neighborhood people that have gathered around this crime scene now.
I like how, like, they all, like, the party was obviously across the street, but now everyone is in just Sheila's yard.
Yeah.
Because she's just giving out muffins and shit, so everyone's just chilling there, and, like, I don't even think there are maybe cops there at that point. It's just, like, everyone who...
The cops are there, and, like, news vans are there, but there's also just, like, neighborhood people just around, I guess.
Yeah. They're all just, like, chilling, eating muffins. It was like, there's a child missing.
And then we cut back to the Gallagher house where Fiona is sitting down with Debbie, and she's like, okay, so, like, you need to have a story when we return this child. Like, the cops are going to want to talk to you, and you need to have a story. And we're like, oh, Debbie is a bad liar, and this is going to go terribly. And then Kevin V knock on the back door, because this is the very first time the Gallaghers have ever locked their back door.
The first time someone actually knocks before entering.
Yeah. So Lip, like, lets them in, and Kev put the kid in his hamper to walk him over. And he's like, is this a missing kid?
Because he has it in the hamper, and he has, like, a blanket over top of it, so obviously he doesn't look discreet, and he just, like, folds it.
So wide-eyed, like, is this that missing child? And you hear the sirens go by, and they're all like, Debbie, why did you steal a child? And then Kev straight up's like, well, maybe because her mom left and Frank's a big drunk. And they all look at him, he's like, oh, I'm the asshole now? She stole a baby!
Honestly, Kev's not wrong.
He's speaking straight facts. Like, I'm a full Kev stan in this episode. And then Steve said, like, well, the worst thing that could happen is we tell them Debbie took the kid and she gets some help, and the Gallaghers are all like, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't do therapy in this house. Babies, maybe you should do some therapy.
Yeah, y'all need some therapy, honestly.
You've been through some shit. You should do some therapy. And Steve's like, what do you mean she doesn't need help? She stole a baby. And they're like, yeah, but...
The way he says it, though, he's like, she stole a baby. Like, his facial expressions, I hate that man, but I love him.
He's like, every other reasonable human being would be like, oh yeah, a child who steals a baby needs to get a little bit of help. The Gallaghers are like,
but...
nope, we don't do therapy. Oh, okay. It's gonna work out real good for you guys.
This paints Debbie a pretty good picture for the later season.
Yeah. And so Fiona says they need to figure this shit out before Family Services finds out that Frank moved and they split the kids up again. And then we get like a weird like picture montage of this time all the kids were split up and put into weird foster homes.
Yeah, like Ian went to like some like Mormon family, like I think Carl went to like an African American like
Carl
gay.
And Debbie,
yeah, Carl and Debbie went to like a gay African American couple, and like it's just like they all just look so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and so this is when it is clear that this show still hasn't found its vibe yet, because the rest of this episode plays out like a heist movie.
Yeah, it's like a montage.
Yeah, we got like a title card that's like the plan. Like it's a heist movie now. This episode is a heist movie now. So I'm going to be referring to Returning the Child as the heist. So Lip has to talk Carl into participating into the plan. And side note, we cut to like a shot of Ian smoking in this, and like baby Ian smoking looks so weird and so unnatural.
Yeah.
And I know that this show is why Cam started smoking, and like I don't like it.
Fucking Jeremy Allen White, that kid is probably so fucked up because of Shameless and his nicotine addiction now.
Yeah, I don't know like if they use fake cigarettes or what kind of fake cigarettes they use, but like I know that Cam and Jeremy both actually smoked. I think they both quit. I know Jeremy has a baby.
Jeremy has a baby now, but I think I definitely saw him like smoking in some Instagram posts.
Oh, great. But I know Cam quit. Cam made a whole post about it when he quit. Anyway, that has nothing to do with this. You see how I can make anything about Ian? So Steve and Fiona have to talk to Debbie again, and they have to talk her into taking the kid back, and Fiona's like, you know how you wanted to make a pie? We could make a pie later. Like, she has to cajole her into returning the child. Like, that's, like, there was any other option. So they have to coach Debbie some more about the right story to tell. And the plan to return the kid is so elaborate and will only work because Lip planned it. And Lip is what? A genius. That's right.
A freaking genius. Like, the small details that went into this plan, I was like, you came up with this? Like, are you kidding me?
Like, as previously established in the last episode, Lip is a bona fide genius, so he is the only one that can plan a heist for the Gallagher clan.
Yeah, that kid is so smart. Yeah. It's insane.
So we cut back to Sheila's house, where she is still stress baking, and she has now made so many muffins. She's got nowhere to put any.
Are taking over the entire household, the entire kitchen, the entire dining room, the entire, like, food, island or bar or whatever.
Her whole, every surface is covered in muffins, and she's got some in her hand, and she's turning around, and she's like, Frank, what do I do? And Frank, in his one only funny line, is like, stop. It's like, you're right, Frank. She could just stop. She could just stop, but she won't because she's stress baking. Let her have her coping mechanisms. So then Frank goes upstairs to pee, and while he's peeing, Karen whips open the shower curtain, and he at least has the decency to be like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were in here, and he like goes to leave. And she's like, Frank, can I have a towel? And she's being all flirty with her tits out, and even again, at least Frank has the decency to be like, this is massively uncomfortable, and I don't like this.
Yeah, like, first of all, she definitely plotted that, because she was in the bathroom with the door open with the curtain drawn on the bath. Woman has tits out galore, and, like, is just like, hi, Frank. Like, enough! Get out of here! You're nasty!
And I wrote, at least, like, on all the lists of Frank's faults, at least pedophile apparently is not one of them. So that's good. That's good for Frank. 1 point for Frank. Not a pedophile. Cool. So he goes outside and just, like, yells into the wind because he is very fucked up about what just happened upstairs. And back to the heist!
Back to the heist!
So Kev has to go into work early and say at the bar that he just saw the kid on Grand, and it takes a minute for anyone at the bar to fucking care about anything that he's saying. He's like, I got all nostalgic. Do you want to know why I got all nostalgic? I saw a kid in a Superman costume. And, like, it takes a few times for anybody to be like...
And he just gets louder and louder. And then finally someone's like, that might be that missing kid. And he's like, what missing kid? Like, he's, like, the worst liar. And, like, of course we know that. Yeah. But, like, people are not paying attention. And, like, I love the alibi.
Like, the moment that that lesbian flannel bartender is like, we have to call the police. He's like, yes, we do. And he's very happy that his part of the plan is over now.
He's like, I did something right.
And then we take a break from the heist. It slows down a little bit in the alibi. When a woman comes over and talks to Kev like she knows him, and he makes her regular drinks, and we find out that's V's mom. V's mom is a regular at the alibi, and she and Kev are tight. That's super cool.
V's mom is so pretty. I love her so much.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. And so then he goes over to bus a table of, like, drunk women, and he's like, ladies, I'm gonna take your glasses and stuff, and they start flirting with him, and he, like, does the thing that you do when you're a server. He's like, smiles back and thanks for that, and I'm gonna go back to my job. But, like, also side note, one of the women that's flirting with him is currently on DC's Legends of Tomorrow, as one of the coolest time-traveling lesbians I've ever watched, and I love her.
What are the odds?
She technically plays a clone, or, like, a manufactured person, but she's a lesbian, and she's dating one of the main characters on Legends of Tomorrow, because that is the island of gays in the superhero world.
Ooh.
And we love her for that. Anyway, we cut to Frank. He's coming in the bar, or we don't cut to. Frank comes in the bar, and he's, like, shaken up by this terrible Karen situation. He's like, yeah, give me alcohol. Give me a lot of alcohol. And this one time, yeah, give Frank the alcohol. This is I don't like this at all.
It's so weird because just, like, out of every scenario, you would think Frank would be, like, the nastiest person alive. But, like, this man's obviously is, like, he's putting his foot down. He doesn't want to be involved with Karen and all that nastiness.
I
just feel bad. Because, like, he wants to respect Sheila because bitch is in his house. Well, she's in her house.
Yeah. And so we cut from that to Lip and Ian in the Gallagher house, and Ian's like, hey, did you, like, put the water heater somewhere? Lip's like, no. And he's like, well, somebody stole the fucking water heater. So the water heater they got this morning is gone, but they don't have time to care about it because we're back in the heist.
This time with theme music, which is great.
Heist music, we love it. Some, like, bump, bump, but, like, some, great. It's great. And so Lip walks Debbie to where she needs to be and gives her, like, a pep talk. And he's like, you have to do this because if you don't do this, the plan won't work and we will all go to prison. So you need to do this. He drops her off at, like, this little place where Steve is now the lookout with her. And Steve gives Debbie a cute little pep talk. And he's like, you know, doctors have to lie sometimes too, but they lie for good reasons. Can you be a doctor for me, Debbie? And, like, yeah, that's the correct way to talk to a kid. She understands. She's like, can I be a nurse? He's like, sure, you can be a nurse.
I love Steve.
Thanks, Steve. It's great. And we cut back to the alibi where Frank is still drinking and that table of women is super, super wasted. And Frank gets, like, flashbacks of naked Karen. And, like, he seems like he's about to get up and leave. And then suddenly Karen's dad is just sitting next to him. And he's like, well, I have to sit here now. And Frank's like, so are you just, like, living in the basement now? And Karen's dad's like, yeah, this is how I'm fixing up the basement, whatever. And then Frank very subtly, like, so does your ass ever stop hurting from all of the pegging?
And then doesn't he was like, take Advil before.
Yeah, he gives him pegging advice, which, like, is the only, okay, this is a weird bonding moment with these guys.
Like, at least shout out to Karen's dad for being a trooper for Sheila as well.
Yeah. So then one of the drunk women continues to hit on Kev, and Kev, again, in the very customer service way, he's like, no, I'm really sorry, I'm with somebody, I'm actually, you know what, I'm getting married. Like, he's saying what he needs to get this woman to stop flirting with him, but Frank overhears the whole I'm getting married part and starts screaming it at the alibi, which has V's mother sitting in it. So everybody starts congratulating him and freaking out, and Kev's like, oh my god, no, now, oh no.
Now Kev's fucked.
Now V's mom thinks that I'm going to propose to her. Great. And we cut from that very deer in the headlights thing back to the heist, where we see Fiona switch the kid out. He's in, like, Liam's stroller, and she trades Debbie for him because Debbie has Liam. She puts Liam in the stroller and she walks away, and Debbie is left with the kid. And then another weird cut to Tony and his partner. His partner has a Slurpee, and he's doing that thing with the Slurpee straw that makes you want to murder a person.
Just makes that fucking... Hold on.
That would be the sound. Makes you want to just fully commit murder. And then he, like, starts criticizing Tony for fucking Fiona. And, like, excuse me, sir. Who are you to judge? Who are you to judge?
First of all, that's on Tony for spilling his sex life.
Yeah, nobody told you to tell that guy. And then we cut to Fiona. She brings Liam over to Sheila's house because Fiona's part of it is that she needs an alibi. So Fiona brings Liam to Sheila's house. And Sheila's like, oh, what's up, Fiona? Like, your girl has obviously taken some medication to stop herself from baking. She has drugged herself up. And Sheila's like, do you want a drink? I have vodka and beer. And Fiona's like, I'll just have coffee. And Sheila just sort of stares at her. Fiona's like, you know what, I'll go make myself some coffee. But Sheila's super, super cute, and she sees Liam, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna play with this baby. And she picks him up, and, oh, again, a weird, like, oops, the cape, like, text appears on screen.
Like, almost like superhero, like, kind of, like flashing, like, text or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, what?
Literally, like, oops, the cape. Arrow to Liam's stroller. They left the Superman cape in the stroller. And Sheila starts playing peekaboo with it, with Liam on the couch. And then we cut to Debbie with, like, she's walking down the street with the kid, and everybody sees her coming and is like, oh my god, it's him! And Fiona hears the commotion outside and runs out and real quick, like, slips the cape to Debbie. She's like, you forgot the cape! And the whole family starts, like, thanking Debbie and praising her and throwing reward money at her.
Yeah, like, it's not just the parents. Like, once they finally, like, bring the kid back and, like, she says, like, her whole spiel or whatever, like, oh, I found him walking down this street or whatever. Like, random people in that crowd are just tossing money.
Yeah.
Like, they're just throwing it. Like, that just made me, like, the most confused. I was like, they're just throwing their money at this point. Like, they're not handing it to anyone.
Yeah. And Fiona at least has, like, the decency to look a little bit uncomfortable with it in the beginning, but they're Gallaghers, so they just start smiling. They're like, yeah, you can throw us money. And of course, as the money is being thrown, lovely Frank walks up, and he's like, oh, that's my daughter! My daughter's a hero! And he starts, like, picking up the money, and then you can see Lip and Ian's just feet come into the shot. And just, they're like, hey, what are you doing? And Frank's like, no, I'm helping her. And they just step on his hands, and he looks up, he's like, I'm your father! Don't give a fuck, Frank, get your hand off the money. Tony comes over to Debbie and says he needs to take a statement from Debbie, and Fiona, like, she knew this was gonna happen, but she tries to, like, stop it. But Debbie's like, Nurse Debbie's got this. Fiona's like, what?
She's like, where the fuck did that come from?
And then we cut to back to the alibi. V's mom is drunk, and she's talking to Kev in the corner at the alibi, and she's like, V loves you so much, and you're so good together, and I've never seen you happier, and you see it, like, dawn on Kev. He's like, yeah, maybe I love V a lot. Maybe I should just propose to her. And then that's exactly what he does. He drunkenly stumbles home, yelling her name out like he's in Streetcar Named Desire, just V, Veronica, as he walks toward the house. And she's at the Gallagher house instead of at their house. And she comes down the porch, and he proposes to her. She's like, well, first of all, why are you drunk in the afternoon? Second of all, yes, I'll marry you.
I love them. They have, like, the cutest relationship.
They seriously, top 3 couples, these two. I love them. And then we cut to Debbie. She's at the police station, and she's doing a super great job lying.
This scene is so cute because she's sitting at, like, the little table, and she has her soda, and it just, like, cuts to her, like, in a different pose, just, like, talking about, like, some random ass thing. And you can tell, like, it has nothing to do with what they're, like, wanting from her. And they're just like, all right, we got it. Like, okay. She's so cute.
And she's in, like, the interrogation room with, like, the double-sided glass. And then the camera goes, like, past the double-sided glass to Fiona. And Fiona is really disturbed at how good Debbie is at lying. She's not loving this. But they get through it. And Steve is, like, outside somewhere waiting for them. And we see him look behind him into, like, the window of a toy shop. That's just a quick little cutaway we get, and then we're back, and Tony is in the cop car driving Fiona and Debbie home. Tony's like, well, Fiona, you missed a good pot roast last week. Like, bro,
get over it. She didn't show up for a reason.
She's back with the guy you knew she was with when you asked her out. Like, this is your fault that you got in the middle of this.
He's so petty. He asked Fiona to his mom's house.
And, like, he asked her out when she was still with Steve. Like, they were fighting, but they were together. And then he has the audacity to be annoying like this? No.
And, like, already after such a traumatic event, and, like, they were at the fucking police station, like, doing all this stuff, and then he's like, hey, I know you're in the back of the car with, like, your sister, but, like, you missed dinner last week. Like, shut up!
Get over it, Tony. Then we cut to Karen and Lip walking down the street, and Karen complains about how fucking weird her house is and how weird dinner's gonna be. And then there's a very weird shot of, like, a hypothetical dinner of Sheila and Frank having a whole feast at one end of the table, and Karen's dad, like, eating Cheerios at the other end of the table. Which, like,
I love that.
You know what? Sheila not letting him eat the food and being petty as fuck to him, that's exactly what you should be doing, Sheila. I'm very happy for you.
No, that's so powerful.
And then we cut back to Lip and Karen still walking, and he says her house is Frank's wet dream and she's never gonna get him to leave. And Karen just brushes past that and is like, you wanna go somewhere and fuck? And, like, okay, you've been flirting with his dad all day, but whatever.
Ew.
And we cut to the Gallagher house where Fiona, Debbie, Carl, and Ian are watching the news story about the miraculous return of the child. And Steve does a very good thing. He's learning boundaries. He pulls Fiona over and he's like, hello, I got Debbie a present. May I give it to her? And waits for Fiona to be like, yes, you can give it to her. Boundaries. We love it.
I love that. It's so cute.
So he wheels it in. He got her a baby doll in a stroller and she is in love with it. She freaks out. She immediately names it Jin Jin and picks it up.
Ginger.
Yeah. She picks it up and starts carrying it up the stairs and talking to it and laughing with it like it told her a joke. And Fiona's, like, still freaked out. Like, She's like, okay, this kid's mental awareness is like not awesome, but we're gonna just let it happen.
Yeah, might as well.
But Steve is a good boy. I love that for him. It's so cute. And then we cut to Kevin V's house. Kev is waking up from being drunk earlier in the day. And V's like, wake up, it's time to get drunk again. I love that. Don't you love that in a partner? Wake up, it's time to get drunk again. Debbie counts out all the money she got. She's in her room. She's counting out all the money she got. And then we see her like look over in the phone book and look something up. She got over $700 in reward money.
I fucking wish. I'll steal a baby if that gets me $700. Are you kidding me?
And we cut to Fiona and Steve. They like fall into bed. And Fiona's like, I want to shower. Oh fuck, there's no hot water. And Steve calls her beautiful and is very cute. And she's like, I'm worried I'm fucking up the kids. And like you can tell he's being comforting. And then you hear V yelling from downstairs. And Fiona's like, what the fuck are you yelling about? And they go downstairs and V tells her she's engaged. And Fiona loses her fucking mind. And she like, it's great.
She's up and ready to party.
Their friendship is great. It's so cute. And suddenly there's a Gallagher kitchen party happening. Awesome.
Like there always is.
And Steve goes over to Kev and congratulates him. And Kev's like, yep, sure. And he like seems weird. And then we cut to Sheila's house where her ex tells Frank to take the Advil before Sheila pegs him. As they like trade off bathrooms. And like, weird. This house is weird. Back to the Gallagher house. Weird. Fiona notices Kev being all pulled away and weird in the living room and goes over to talk to him. And she apologizes. She's like, I know we borrow your shit all the time. And like, we love you guys. And I'm so sorry. And he's like, Jägermeister makes you chatty. It's cute. They like tease each other. It's very sweet. And she like is noticing that he's being weird, but she doesn't get a chance to analyze it after they, of course, both admire how beautiful V is and how Fiona thinks that like they're very beautiful together. And they get interrupted with her analyzing how weird he's being because there's a sound of a truck backing up outside. And they go outside and Debbie is signing like an invoice. And
also, when Debbie takes authority, I love her. The mastermind behind the Gallaghers. She bought them a water heater with her money. Like, are you kidding me?
Episode 4 of Debbie is the financial head of the household, apparently.
Literally, episode 4, and she's probably not even double digits. And woman's is buying their household a whole water heater. Even though if we ignore the part where she stole a baby, she bought them a water heater.
Yeah, she took her reward money and bought them a water heater. And so the whole family's like, fuck yeah! And like goes to help the guy install the water heater. And Fiona is left outside with Kev. And she's like, okay, Kev, why are you being weird? And Kev's like, she's like, aren't you excited to get married? He's like, yeah, but I'm also already married. Cut to credits. Like,
I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, I'm already married. And then he like takes a sip of his beer and then it's like,
yeah.
Credits.
And then the after credit scene, everyone's getting breakfast in the Gallagher house and they're like waking up and doing stuff. And Fiona's like, Debbie, you have to get ready for school. Why do you look so tired? And Debbie's got like a fake diaper in her hand. And she looks all messed up, like she's been up all night with a newborn. And she's like, I can't go to school today. Jin kept me all night with diaper rash. And she takes peanut butter and smears it in the diaper and walks upstairs. And the whole family's like, what?
Yeah, they're all just like sitting at the table just like girl obviously going through it.
And also, spoiler alert ahead, wow, foreshadowing. Young mother Debbie. Okay.
Yeah, really foreshadowing. Like this whole episode foreshadows like how whack Debbie is.
And just to further prove how like wild and fast this episode passed by, we're finished and we've been recording for 48 minutes.
Yeah, this is the fastest episode we have done so far.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I guess it's just the way, like, it wasn't as, like, I guess, plot-driven and storyline-driven. Like, in other episodes, we were focusing on a bunch of different things, but it really seemed like the main focus, like, the only main focus of this episode was the whole heist part. So I guess if we weren't, like, it doesn't distract you with, like, another scenario or another thing. Like, obviously we got other information throughout this episode, but it was just, like, baby trouble was, like, the main, like, thing they focused on, which, like, is, like, fine, but, like, 45 minutes. What?
And like, I like this episode because
I love this episode.
I like heist movies, and like I like seeing a plan work, but like it was a weird episode. It was a fucking. They got a new water heater, and Kev is married, and Karen is flirting with Frank. That is what we learned this week.
Yeah, we get like small little info about people, but like they made all the main focus for baby stealing, and then you never see that baby ever again,
Yeah.
and you never see those neighbors ever again.
I still think Carl is only in like two scenes of this episode. Like,
yeah, Carl plays like a part where he's like at the house, obviously, because he lives there, and then he does the part where he like breaks the.
Oh, he has to call the police from a payphone.
Yeah, and he's like such an asshole. And he's like, I don't like no, like on this street, and then he breaks it because I guess that was like the whole concept is that like she couldn't call from that phone because that phone was broken.
Yeah, there's another part too where Lip is like, V, you have to go to this dry cleaner and call from there and say that you just saw a kid there, and she's like, that dry cleaner is an old bitch and we don't like her. He's like, I've got weed for her. Like. He's like, it's fine. I already thought of that. She's got glaucoma. I've got weed. And I'm like, Lip is so smart.
I love when we meet that lady again with the meat scenario, with the meat truck.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that. I forget why they need her for something, but Debbie like goes to her and they're like, I got like 4 pounds of short rib, and then she's like, I'll help you.
The relationships they cultivate around the South.
The South Side relationships between everyone, I love it. It's just like every now and then, like there'll be like that one person that they have like for their go-to guy. They're like, I'll do this for you if you do this for me.
So so that was episode 4. It flew by. It was a little bit weird.
Very weird.
It's the shortest episode that we're ever going to post. Because next week is season 1, episode 5, and Evan and I are super excited to watch season 1.
You can't see me, but I'm dancing.
He's dancing. He's dancing because Mickey's back.
The man, the myth, the legend is back.
And he is my favorite person on planet Earth, and I'm so excited to talk about that next week. It's gonna be so fun.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be so fun. But until then, that was our episode. We kept it nice and short for you this week.
Yes, the shortest episode by fucking far.
It'll probably get even shorter when I start editing out all of our ums and uhs and likes and sniffles because...
Don't call us out.
Oh my god, listening to yourself in audio form for hours at a time, you've never wanted to die more. So, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. You can please if you liked this, please like it on Spotify and SoundCloud and Stitcher and add it to your playlists and leave us comments and email us at luckwehadpod and follow our Instagram, luckwehadpod, and follow our Twitter, luckwehadpod. We're making it so easy for you guys.
It's so easy. We actually did create a website now, and the website is just called theluckwehad.carrd.co.
Yeah, the link to that is in our Instagram bio.
Yes. And so you can find all of the streaming services that we are posted on that website. It has when we post every Tuesday, and it also has links to both of our personal Instagrams and where you can contact us, email us, or follow us.
Yes. And we also have a Ko-Fi, Luck We Had Pod, if you wanted to contribute to that. We just upgraded to a pro plan on SoundCloud this week, so...
Yes, we did!
But you can follow your hosts. You can follow me at AbnormalAmanda on Twitter, or AbnormalAmanda18 on Instagram. I'm Abnormal Amanda 27 or whatever on TikTok. You don't have to follow me. It's fine. But where can people find you, Evan?
You can find me on Instagram at IWannaDie4000. I promise I am okay. And you can also follow my TikTok with the same exact username.
IWannaDie4000. He's fine.
I'm fine. I've used this username for too long. Too late for me to change it.
Evan posts quality cosplay TikTok and quality comedy TikTok. I am there for the women. That's why I'm on TikTok.
Honestly, you get the best of both worlds, so it's double trouble.
It's the new gay dating app. That's where they've all gone. So that's where I am.
Honestly.
And join us next Tuesday for season 1, episode 5, where Evan and I will just be yelling about Mickey the entire time.
We're just gonna scream the whole time.
So if you liked the 3rd episode, you'll love the 5th episode. It'll be great. Until then, we'll see you guys all later. Bye.
Bye.